The unexpected return. The mansion sat on the edge of the forest, cloaked in shadows as the last rays of the sun dipped beneath the horizon. The ancient oaks swayed in the wind, their branches like skeletal fingers against the dimming sky. Inside, the grand halls of the estate were unusually quiet. The only sound the soft clinking of silverware and the faint rustle of silk as Luna, the maid, moved cautiously through the corridors. She had been working for the powerful Morrow, the wolf. Romano, the feared Mafia boss whose reputation was as ruthless as it was mysterious. But tonight was different. Tonight something in the air felt off. The hairs on the back of her neck prickled, and a faint growl, almost imperceptible, echoed in the distant halls. Luna's hands shook slightly as she polished the grand chandelier in the main hall. The mansion had been silent all evening. Morrow away on business, but instinct whispered to her that he wasn't coming back late tonight. No, tonight he would come home early. And then, she heard it, the unmistakable sound of leather boots hitting the marble floor. Slow, deliberate. A presence so commanding it made the chandeliers tremble. Morrow had returned. She froze. Every instinct screamed at her to run, yet her voice caught in her throat. She knew the man who had built empires on fear, blood, and power. And yet, she also knew something no one else did, something that could destroy her if revealed. As Morrow entered the hall, his sharp eyes scanned the dim light, piercing through the shadows like knives. His dark hair fell perfectly over his forehead, and the sharp cut of his jaw gave him a predatory allure that made hearts falter and men step back. But it was his aura, something not entirely human, that made Luna's pulse race uncontrollably. He stopped suddenly, sensing her presence. Luna, his voice was low, dangerous, but laced with a strange magnetic pull. "Where are you?" She stepped out from behind the grand staircase, palms trembling. I'm here, sir," she whispered. But before he could take another step, she held up a hand. "Stay silent," she warned, her voice firm despite the tremor. "If you ask the reason, you won't believe it." Morrow's eyes narrowed, curiosity flickering amidst the storm of fury he always carried. "Try me," he said, his voice a low growl. The air around him shifted, and the subtle shimmer of fur along his jawline betrayed the wolf within. Luna swallowed hard, knowing that the truth she was about to reveal could unravel everything. The Mafia empire, the secret of the Romano bloodline, and her own fragile heart. She had never planned for him to return tonight. She had never planned for the night to become a cage of secrets, desire, and danger. "Tonight," she said, her voice shaking, "isn't just about your return, it's about what you brought home without knowing. What's waiting outside the gates could change everything." Morrow's eyes darkened, the wolf inside him growling low, hungry, and protective. He took a step closer, his presence dominating the vast hall. "Then show me," he demanded. And as the wind howled outside, carrying whispers of the forest's creatures, Luna realized that the night had only just begun, and nothing would ever be the same again. The secret in the shadows. The mansion's grand doors creaked open to the night, letting in a gust of cold air that carried the scent of the forest, wild, untamed, and faintly metallic. Luna led Morrow down the long, dimly lit hall, her heart hammering against her ribs. Every step she took seemed louder than it was, echoing like a warning. Outside, the forest lay in eerie silence, the moonlight glinting off frost-tipped leaves. Then she stopped abruptly at the edge of the stone veranda. Her hands shook as she faced him. "You need to see this, but you have to promise me you won't." "Don't lie to me," Morrow interrupted, his voice low, dangerous. The wolf inside him shifted impatiently, a subtle growl resonating from deep within his chest. His eyes glowed faintly in the moonlight, and Luna instinctively stepped back. "I can't promise," she admitted, "but if you step forward, you might not be able to turn back." Morrow's gaze hardened. "I never turn back. I never let anyone dictate what I do." With a trembling hand, Luna pushed aside a veil of ivy that had grown over a part of the stone garden. Beneath it, something glimmered faintly in the moonlight. Morrow's sharp eyes narrowed as he saw it, a cage, small but unmistakably alive. Inside, a wolf pup, its fur pure silver and eyes wide with fear, trembled against the bars. Luna whispered, "It's yours, but not like you think. He's part of the curse." His wolf growled, low and feral, sensing danger and betrayal. "A curse." His voice was ice and fire at once. "Explain." Luna's chest heaved as she knelt beside the cage. "Long ago, your family was bound to the forest. Every hair carries a wolf, a guardian, but also a burden. This pup, it's your twin legacy. If it's not protected, the curse awakens. It can destroy everything you've built and everyone you love." Morrow's heart, though trained to be steel, skipped. He crouched, running a rough hand over the cage bars. The pup growled softly, sensing the wolf in him. A strange warmth surged in his chest, something he hadn't felt in years: protection, longing, and something far more dangerous: desire. Why didn't anyone tell me? He demanded, voice trembling with rage and disbelief. Because they were afraid, Luna said, stepping closer. Her hand brushed against his. Sparks, real electric sparks, danced between them. Because they knew only you could tame it. Only you could survive the truth. Maro's wolf growled again, more insistent now. His instincts screamed at him: protect, claim, dominate. And yet a new feeling crept in, something fragile and terrifying. He turned to Luna, eyes dark, and asked, "And you? How are you involved in this?" Luna's gaze met his unwavering. "I'm the one who found him first. I'm the one who made sure he survived. I couldn't let anyone hurt him. And now I can't let anyone hurt you either." The air between them thickened. The forest seemed to lean closer, listening. The pup whimpered, sensing the tension and the power radiating from its future master. Maro's wolf shifted, sensing the bond forming not just with the pup, but with the human before him. And then, as if the night itself were holding its breath, Moro leaned closer. His lips brushed Luna's ear, his voice a growl and a promise. "You've just made yourself mine." Luna's heart skipped a beat. The mansion, the forest, the cursed legacy, they were all converging. And in that instant, she realized that her life, her secrets, and her heart were now irrevocably intertwined with the Mafia wolf who had returned early and would never leave. Night of fire and shadows. The moon hung high above the forest, bathing the Romano estate in cold silver light. The pup, now trembling in Moro's arms, let out a soft whine that made Luna's heart ache. She stepped closer, feeling the magnetic pull of Moro's presence, dangerous, intoxicating, and impossible to resist. Moro's wolf growled low in his chest, ears twitching at every shadow. His hands tightened around the pup, but his gaze never left Luna. "Why didn't you tell me sooner?" he demanded, voice sharp, but layered with an unfamiliar vulnerability. "I was afraid," she admitted, her voice barely a whisper. "Afraid you'd reject me, or worse, that the curse would hurt you before you could save yourself." Moro's lips curved into a grim smile. "Reject you? Luna, I don't reject what's mine." The word sent shivers down her spine. His wolf shifted, brushing against her senses, a blend of dominance and raw instinct that made her knees weak. Suddenly, a rustle came from the forest. Moro's wolf growled, and his body tensed like a coiled spring. Shadows moved between the trees: hunters, cursed creatures, or rivals who knew of the Romano legacy. The air crackled with danger. "Stay behind me," Moro ordered, his voice low, a warning threaded with possessiveness. The silver pup whimpered and clung to him. Luna nodded, heart pounding, and instinctively moved closer, letting his aura envelop her. Then, without warning, a figure lunged from the shadows. Moro's wolf exploded, a blur of claws, teeth, and snarls. The attacker, a werewolf exiled from the pack, cried out in shock, unable to withstand Moro's sheer ferocity. Within moments, the threat was neutralized, leaving the forest eerily silent again. Moro's chest heaved, his wolf snarling softly, still alert. He turned to Luna, eyes blazing. "Do you see now why you should never keep secrets from me?" Luna swallowed hard, her pulse racing. "I see. But I didn't want to lose you to the curse. Or to yourself." Moro stepped closer, their breaths mingling. The air around them seemed to sizzle, charged with tension. "Losing me." His lips brushed hers, a tentative, fiery touch. "You can't lose me, Luna, not now, not ever." Her body responded before her mind could. She leaned into him, letting the storm of desire, fear, and relief wash over her. His wolf growled, possessive and protective, as he pulled her closer, tilting her chin up. The kiss deepened, fierce and consuming, the world outside fading into insignificance. Every shadow, every whisper of the forest, every secret of the curse melted into the heat of the moment. Luna felt herself melting into him, heart and soul entwined with the Mafia wolf she had feared and desired from the first moment she saw him. When they finally broke apart, gasping for air, Moro rested his forehead against hers. "We have a long night ahead," he murmured, voice husky with desire and a hint of warning. "The curse isn't done, and neither am I with you." Luna nodded, knowing the truth in his words. The forest, the mansion, the pup, and the secrets, they were all pieces of a dangerous puzzle. And as Moro's wolf circled protectively around them, Luna realized that the night was only the beginning. The shadows whispered promises of power, passion, and peril. And as the first storm clouds gathered above the forest, a shiver of anticipation ran through her. She was about to discover just how far love and the curse could go. Shadows of the curse. The mansion lay in an uneasy silence. The storm outside had begun, lightning slicing the sky, rain pounding against the windows like the drumbeats of an approaching battle. Morrow paced the grand hall, the silver pup nestled safely in his arms. His wolf growled softly, ears twitching at every shadow, every sound from the forest beyond. Luna followed him, carrying a tray of warm tea, her hands trembling not from the cold, but from the tension radiating off him. "You can't stay awake like this all night," she said softly, placing the tray on a side table. "I don't sleep," Morrow said, voice low and dangerous, eyes flicking toward the window. "Not when the curse is awake, not when someone is out there, waiting to take what's mine." She took a hesitant step closer. "Morrow, the curse, what exactly can it do?" He turned to her, eyes dark with unspoken storms. "It can consume me. It can consume anyone who stands in my way. The pup, the Romano legacy, it's not just a gift. It's a weapon, and the bloodline carries the price. One misstep, and everything falls apart." Luna's heart raced. The weight of the secret she had been guarding became unbearably heavy. "And me?" she asked quietly, barely daring to speak the words. Morrow's gaze softened, the wolf within him growling low and protective. "You," he said, stepping closer. "You're the only one I trust to stand by my side. And yet you've already risked so much." Before she could respond, the mansion trembled with a sudden crash. Lightning illuminated the hall, revealing shadows moving in the corners. Morrow's wolf erupted with a feral growl, his body shifting as he prepared for battle. "They've found us," he growled. From the shadows emerged a rival pack, exiled werewolves and mercenaries who had learned of the Romano curse. Their eyes glowed red in the lightning, their intent clear: take the pup, claim the legacy, and destroy the Mafia wolf. Morrow dropped the pup safely behind a marble pillar. "Luna, stay close," he commanded, his voice a low growl, both possessive and protective. "No one touches you." The battle that followed was cinematic in every sense. Morrow moved like a blur, a perfect fusion of man and beast, his claws slicing through the night. Luna ducked and dodged, instinctively helping the pup to safety, her heart pounding as she watched him fight with ruthless precision. Every strike, every snarl, every leap was a reminder of the danger surrounding them, and of the raw power he wielded. When the last attacker fell, the mansion was silent once again, except for the sound of rain and the ragged breathing of its defenders. Morrow returned to Luna, pulling her close. His wolf nuzzled her, protective and possessive, as if warning the world she was his. "You see," he said, voice low, almost a growl. "This is what the curse brings: danger, death, and desire." Luna pressed herself against him, shivering. "I am not afraid of you," she whispered. "Or the curse. I'm afraid of losing you." Morrow's lips brushed hers, fierce and consuming. "Then you'll never lose me," he murmured. His eyes glowed with wolfish intensity, the storm outside reflecting the fire and hunger inside him. "I'll protect you, and the pup with every part of me." For the first time, Luna understood the true depth of the Romano curse. It wasn't just a threat. It was a bond, unbreakable, wild, and eternal. And as the storm raged on outside, she realized that the night had changed them both forever. The curse had awakened, the danger had arrived, and yet so had an undeniable, feral love, the heart of the curse. The storm had not relented. Thunder rolled across the mountains like a war drum, and the rain fell in sheets, turning the forest around the Romano estate into a swirling blur of shadows. Inside, the mansion was a fortress of candlelight and tension. Morrow stood by the window, the silver pup clutched protectively in his arms, his wolf pacing silently beside him. Luna moved quietly behind him, her heart still racing from the night's chaos. "They won't stop, will they?" she asked, her voice barely above a whisper. Morrow's dark eyes met hers, wolfish intensity simmering beneath the surface. "No," he admitted. "They want the legacy. They want the curse. And they'll come for everything I've built." She stepped closer, her hand brushing his arm. "Then we fight," she said firmly. "Together." A faint growl escaped Morrow, a mixture of approval and warning. His wolf circled closer, sensing her determination. "You're braver than I thought," he murmured, pulling her against him. "But the curse, it's not just about strength. It's about control. And it will test you, test us both." At that moment, a sudden knock echoed through the hall. The mansion seemed to freeze. Morrow's wolf bristled, ears pricked, eyes glowing faintly in the candlelight. "Stay behind me," he ordered. Luna nodded, heart hammering as he strode toward the door, each step measured dangerous. When he opened it, a figure cloaked in shadows stepped forward, a woman, her eyes sharp and knowing. "You've awakened it," she said, voice like ice. "The curse is stronger than you imagine, and now it's demanding a price. Morrow growled, stepping in front of Luna. What do you want? The woman's lips curved into a smile, chilling and enigmatic. The Romano bloodline, and the one who guards it. If you fail, the curse will destroy everything. And he, her eyes flicked to Morrow, will not survive unscathed. Luna's stomach twisted. She understood now the curse wasn't just about power or legacy. It was a living force hungry, testing loyalty, love, and desire. And tonight, it had chosen to test them both. Morrow turned to her, his wolf brushing against her side, protective and possessive. You're mine, he growled softly. The curse doesn't scare me because you're here. I will not let it take you or the pup. Luna swallowed hard, feeling the pull of his words, the weight of the storm, and the undeniable fire between them. She reached for his hand, feeling the heat radiating from his body, the wild power of the wolf within him, and the dangerous promise of what was to come. As the night deepened, Morrow and Luna stood together, facing the shadows, the storm, and the curse. Each second was charged with tension, passion, and fear, every heartbeat a reminder that love in the world of werewolves and Mafia empires was never simple and never safe. Lightning struck, illuminating the estate, and in that flash, Luna realized the truth. She had fallen, not just for a man, but for a predator, a protector, a wolf, and a curse that would bind their souls together forever. The night was far from over. The curse had awakened fully, the enemies were closing in, and the passion between them burned brighter than the storm. The curse unleashed. The rain had slowed to a heavy drizzle, but the storm's fury lingered in the air, charged with electricity. The Romano estate, once a symbol of wealth and control, now felt like a battleground poised on the edge of chaos. Morrow stood in the main hall, the silver pup at his feet, eyes glowing faintly with wolfish intensity. His body was tense, coiled like a predator ready to strike. Luna approached cautiously, her heart pounding, yet she refused to step back. Morrow, it's coming, she whispered. He turned, his gaze sweeping the forest outside. I know, he growled. The curse, it knows fear, loyalty, and desire. And right now it's testing us. Suddenly the air thickened. Shadows coalesced into shapes, wolves, twisted by envy and malice, eyes glowing red in the dim light. The rival pack had arrived, their intent clear: take the pup, claim the curse, and destroy the Romano Empire. Morrow's wolf erupted with a deafening growl, his body transforming before Luna's eyes. Fur bristled, claws extended, and the raw power of his werewolf form radiated like wildfire. He roared, a sound that shook the mansion walls, sending the intruders momentarily staggering backward. Luna, he barked, voice both human and beast. Stay behind me! Protect the pup! But Luna didn't retreat. Her fear had transformed into resolve. The curse had bound her to him, and she would not stand idle while danger threatened the man and wolf she had come to love. She grabbed a silver dagger from the hall stand, her hand steady despite the pounding of her heart. The first wave of attackers lunged. Morrow moved like a force of nature, teeth and claws flashing in the storm-lit hall. Luna fought beside him, agile and precise, striking at those who came too close. Together they were a whirlwind of fury and passion, a perfect blend of human courage and supernatural power. One attacker broke through Morrow's defense, lunging at him from behind. Without thinking, Luna threw herself into the path, dagger piercing the attacker's shoulder. The man yelped, staggering back, giving Morrow the opening to end the fight with one swift, decisive strike. Breathing heavily, Morrow's wolf nuzzled Luna, protective and possessive. You're reckless, he growled, though his voice softened as his glowing eyes met hers. But I like it. Luna blushed despite herself, heart racing. I'm yours, Morrow, curse and all. At that moment, a chill swept through the hall. The curse's true form manifested, a shadowy, almost sentient darkness that coiled around the pup. Its growls were not of teeth, but of raw, ancient power. Morrow roared, rushing to shield the pup. You will not touch him or her! Luna stepped forward, her hand on his chest. We face it together, she said, eyes shining with determination. We can end this or survive it, but not alone. Their hands clasped, and the curse seemed to sense the bond. The shadows pulsed, shrieking, then began to recede, unable to break the unity between Morrow, Luna, and the pup. The mansion shook as the storm outside mirrored the tumult within, lightning flashing like the heartbeat of the curse itself. Finally, the darkness dissipated, leaving them panting, drenched, but victorious. Morrow's wolf form shimmered, slowly reverting to his human guise, though his eyes still glowed faintly silver. He pulled Luna close, brushing rain-soaked hair from her face. You survived, he murmured, lips grazing hers in a searing, possessive kiss. Not just tonight, but every challenge to come. You're mine. curse, bloodline, and all. Luna rested her head against his chest, listening to the steady thrum of his heart beneath the wolfish power. "And you're mine?" she whispered. "Forever." Thunder rolled in the distance, a reminder that danger was never truly gone. But for now, in the aftermath of chaos, passion, and battle, Moro, Luna, and the pup stood together, bound by love, ferocity, and a curse that would never be broken. Bonds of blood and fire. The storm had finally begun to wane, leaving the mansion drenched in silver moonlight. Rain dripped from the eaves, forming small rivers along the marble floors, the scent of wet earth and wild forest filling the air. Moro and Luna stood together in the grand hall, the pup nestled safely between them, its tiny silver fur glinting in the moonlight. "You handled yourself well tonight," Moro murmured, his fingers brushing through Luna's hair as he leaned close. "Braver than anyone I've ever known." Luna blushed, a warmth spreading through her chest despite the cold. "I couldn't let anything happen to you or him," she said softly, nodding toward the pup. Moro's wolf growled low, rumbling in his chest as he stepped closer. "Protective and possessive. He's part of the curse. But so are you. And the bond we share now, it's stronger than anything I've felt before." The pup stirred, letting out a soft whine, and suddenly silver sparks flickered from its fur. Moro and Luna exchanged startled glances. The pup's eyes glowed faintly, and a shiver of energy pulsed through the room. "It's reacting to us," Luna whispered. "Struck. The bond, it's recognizing our connection." Moro knelt, placing a hand over the pup's small body. "It knows," he murmured, eyes narrowing. "It knows who its guardians are, and it will follow us wherever we go." A tense silence followed, broken only by the soft drip of water from the ceilings. Moro's gaze shifted to Luna, dark and intense. "You've stepped into my world completely," he said, his voice husky. "There's no going back. Mafia wars, rival packs. The curse, you'll face it all by my side. And if anyone touches you—" He trailed off, letting the threat hang like a blade in the air. "I'm not afraid," Luna said firmly, her hand finding his. "I belong here, with you and with him." She gestured to the pup, who now wagged its tiny tail, silver sparks flickering along its fur. Moro's lips curved into a rare smile, wolfish and possessive. He pulled her close, forehead against hers, the storm of emotion and desire between them palpable. "Then we face it all together." The next days were a blur of tension, training and discovery. Moro taught Luna to move like the wolf, graceful, silent, and deadly when needed. They honed their instincts, learning to fight side by side, preparing for the inevitable retaliation from rival mafia families and exiled packs. Meanwhile, the pup grew stronger, its silver fur shimmering brighter, its eyes glowing with an almost otherworldly light. Luna discovered that the pup could sense danger before it happened, its tiny growls warning them of approaching enemies or hidden threats. It was both adorable and terrifying, a reminder that the curse was alive, powerful, and unpredictable. One night, as they trained in the grand hall, Moro caught Luna off guard, pressing her against the cold marble wall. His eyes glowed silver in the candlelight, wolfish and intense. "You belong to me," he growled softly. "Every part of you, body, heart, and soul." Luna's breath hitched as she felt the heat radiating from him. "And you belong to me," she whispered, voice trembling with desire and certainty. Their lips met in a fiery, desperate kiss, one that spoke of unspoken promises, danger, and desire. The storm outside mirrored the storm within the mansion, a perfect symphony of chaos and passion. As they pulled apart, gasping for air, Moro's wolf growled low, a warning and a claim all at once. "Enemies will come," he murmured, voice hoarse. "The curse will test us, but as long as we're together, nothing can break us." Luna nodded, pressing her cheek against his chest. "Together," she echoed. "No matter what comes." Outside, the forest whispered. Sensing the rising power of the Romano legacy, the bond between the Mafia wolf and his Maid, and the tiny silver guardian who would change the fate of them all. The battle for legacy. The night was thick with fog, swirling around the mansion like a living entity. The Romano estate, once a sanctuary, now felt like the epicenter of impending chaos. Moro stood on the veranda, the silver pup clutched to his chest, eyes scanning the misty forest. His wolf growled low, body taut with anticipation. Luna approached, her own nerves hidden beneath a mask of resolve. "They're coming," she said softly, her hand brushing his. "Both the Mafia rivals and the exiled pack." Moro's jaw tightened. "Good. Let them come. They'll regret ever crossing me." His eyes glowed faintly silver, wolfish instincts sharpening every sense. "And you?" He placed a protective hand on her cheek, his thumb brushing over her trembling lips. "You stay close, always." Before she could respond, A howl echoed from the forest, a chilling, coordinated signal. Shadows emerged from the mistmen in dark suits, weapons glinting, and werewolves with eyes of crimson fury. They moved like predators, closing in with deadly precision. Morrow's wolf erupted with a roar, a sound that shook the trees and reverberated through the mansion. "Attack," he commanded, and the battle erupted. Luna moved beside him, dagger in hand, every strike precise and lethal. The pup darted between the combatants, glowing silver, sensing danger, and even managing to distract a few attackers with sudden bursts of supernatural energy. Morrow moved like a force of nature, teeth and claws tearing through enemies with a combination of raw strength and strategic precision learned from decades of Mafia battles. One rival wolf lunged at Morrow from behind. In a heartbeat, Luna intercepted, plunging her dagger into its side. The wolf yelped, staggering back, giving Morrow the opening to finish it with a swipe of his claws. Sparks of fury and silver energy collided in the air, illuminating the rain-soaked battlefield in flashes of light. Morrow's eyes met Luna's across the chaos. For a brief moment, the world narrowed to just the two of them. Hearts pounding, adrenaline surging. He lunged at another enemy, but a sharp pang of fear made him hesitate, his wolf growling at the scent of a hidden threat. Luna,
sensing it, shouted, "Behind you!"
and hurled a silver dagger that struck true. The battle raged, rain mixing with blood, the storm outside echoing the ferocity within. And then, in a flash of silver light, the pup leapt from Morrow's arms, releasing a burst of energy that sent the attackers staggering backward, some even retreating into the forest. The curse's power, channeled through its small body, was both a shield and a weapon, a testament to the bond between the Romano bloodline and their guardian. Breathing heavily, Morrow gathered Luna and the pup, pressing them against his chest. His eyes, still glowing silver, met hers. "You see now," he growled softly. "This is what comes with the curse of the enemies, the danger, the power. But nothing will ever separate us." Luna pressed her hand to his chest, feeling the steady heartbeat of both man and wolf. "We survived," she whispered. "Together." Morrow leaned down, lips brushing her ear in a possessive whisper. "And we'll keep surviving as long as we face everything as one. Mafia, curse, enemies and desire." The storm began to subside, leaving the mansion drenched in moonlight. The attackers had been driven back, but the night had changed them. Morrow, Luna, and the pup were no longer just master, maid, and guardian. They were a family forged in battle, bonded by love, blood, and the unyielding power of the curse. And in the distance, the forest whispered, knowing that the Romano legacy had grown stronger, more dangerous, and far more untouchable than ever before. Aftermath and awakening. The mansion was quiet now, soaked in moonlight and the scent of rain. Broken leaves and traces of battle littered the marble floors, but Morrow, Luna, and the silver pup stood victorious. For the first time since the storm began, the three of them could breathe. Morrow knelt beside the pup, watching it curl against Luna's leg. Its silver fur shimmered faintly, pulsing with energy like a heartbeat in the darkness. "It's growing stronger," he murmured, his voice a mixture of awe and concern. "Faster than I expected." Luna crouched, brushing her fingers through the pup's fur. "It's learning from us, from you," she said softly. "The bond, it's not just loyalty, it's connection. It knows what we feel." Morrow's eyes, still glowing faintly with silver, met hers. He stepped closer, brushing rain-soaked hair from her face. "And what we feel is dangerous," he murmured. "Not just the enemies, the curse, but each other." Luna's heart skipped a beat. The storm of passion and desire from the battle night still lingered, unspoken yet undeniable. "I don't care," she whispered. "I want you, all of you. Curse, Mafia, wolf, everything." A low growl rumbled in Morrow's chest, wolfish and possessive. He pressed his forehead to hers, their breaths mingling. "Then you'll have it," he promised, voice husky with desire. "And I'll protect you no matter what comes next." The pup let out a small bark, and suddenly silver sparks flickered around it, swirling in the air like ethereal fireflies. Luna gasped, realizing the pup was manifesting its own power, its connection to the curse and the Romano bloodline far stronger than she had anticipated. "Look at it," she breathed. "It's awakening." Morrow watched, a mix of pride and caution in his eyes. "The curse isn't done," he murmured. "This is only the beginning. It will grow with him, with us. And soon, the enemies will learn that the Romano legacy is untouchable." As they stood together, holding the pup between them, a distant howl echoed from the forest. Not a threat this time, but a challenge. The night was far from over. New enemies, both human and supernatural, were already stirring, drawn by the power of the curse and the bloodline it protected. Luna leaned against Morrow, resting her head against his chest, feeling the steady heartbeat beneath his wolfish power. "Whatever comes," she whispered, "we face it together." Morrow's lips brushed hers in a possessive, lingering kiss. "Always," he murmured, "blood, curse, and love forever." Outside, the forest seemed to hum in approval, the pup's silver sparks lighting the darkened trees. The Romano legacy had grown stronger, more dangerous, and far more unbreakable. And as the moon shone down on them, one thing was certain: their story of love, power, and curse was only beginning.